Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. It's your brother Joshua back with another quick coffee break, right? And I want to come with brothers and sisters today real quick to ask this question. Are you keeping this commandment, man? And are you being Christ-like, right? A lot of times we say we follow Christ. We do what Christ does. We love Christ, right? And what does that mean, man? To be like Christ or to follow Christ. It's to do after his example, right? And follow his ways. And we understand that Yahweh Shai was perfect, right? And he followed all the commandments of the Most High, right? So we have to ask ourselves, are we keeping the commandments as well, like Christ did, right? And this is one commandment that we have to ask ourselves if we're truly followers of a Mashiach Yahweh Shai, and if we say we love the Most High, are we doing this, right? So this is what it means to follow after Yahweh Shai or Christ. This is 1 Peter chapter 1, 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21, and it reads, "For even unto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth," man, right? So Yahweh Shai was left an example on how we should walk, right? A perfect example on what we should do, right? Because he loved us, right? So now we have to ask ourselves, are we following after Christ, and are we walking in his ways and doing what was asked of us to do, right? And are we following this one commandment, man, right? Let's get it real quick. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 13, and I'm gonna start at verse number 34, and it says, Salakia, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I loved you, that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that they are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. Right? So the question is, do you have love for your neighbor, man? Do you love one another? Right? Do you truly love your neighbor, man? Right? He said, I give you this commandment that you love one another. It's commanded of us as a people, right? As a nation of people, you Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, right? That we love one another. That's a commandment from the Lord. And you got to sit down and really ask yourself, do you love your people? If you call yourself a follower after Christ, right? Do you love your people in their darkest moments, right? When they're in their folly? Do you love your people when they make mistakes? When they double cross you, when they fall, right? Do you love your people, right? Just like Yahweh Shai did. He was the example for us. And Yahweh Shai, he loved us even when we were at our worst, man, right? Even when we were making the main mistake with murdering, fornication, all type of folly in the world, the Lord still looked upon us with pity, and he loved us, right? And are we following that example? Right, let's get a precept real quick. Let's go to Romans real quick. Okay, Romans chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 6, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 6, and it says, "For when we were yet without strength, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly." Right? So when we were in our weakest point, man, we didn't have no strength in us. We was following and wallowing in mud. We were in darkness. He said, in due time, Christ died for the ungodly. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die. Yet peradventure, for a good man, some would even dare to die. Right? So, hey, you're not going to find a man on this earth, man, that's really going to die for a righteous man, for one another. You're scarcely going to see somebody lay down their life for their brother, man. Right? That's what he's saying. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die, Yet peradventure, for a good man, some have dared to die. But Yahweh commandeth his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Yahweh died for us, man. While yet we were sinning, and we were in all type of foolishness, madness, right? All type of wickedness in this world, Yahweh was sent to die for you, man, to have mercy upon you, showing that love towards you, man, right? And we got to ask ourselves, do we look at one another like that? Or do we look at one another with hate and disgust? Do we really love our neighbors? Will we really lay down our lives for our people, right? Do we really understand that if we hate one another, we're not walking in the light, right? Do you understand that you're still in darkness if you hate your brothers? And do you truly know what the love in the Lord really means, man? To love your people. Right? Let's get a precept real quick. All right, let's go to 1 John. All right, let's go to 1 John chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse number 10. And it reads, in this the children of Yahweh are manifest, and the children of the devil, whosoever doeth righteousness is not slakia, doeth not righteousness is not of Yahweh. Neither he that loveth not his brother, right? So if you don't love your brother, if you don't love your neighbor, then you're not of God, man, right? You're not of the Most High if you do not have love for your brother. If you looking at another brother, man, and you can't stand, you hate him, right? Then you don't love the Most High, man. Right? It's impossible. And it says, for this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain, who was that wicked one and slew his brother. And that's the problem with a lot of our people, man. We of Cain, man, that wicked one, right? Satan. A lot of brothers slay their brothers by slandering them behind their backs, man, sleeping with their women, right? Murdering them physically, right? We're of that wicked one, right? And it says, and wherefore slew he him, because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous, man. And a lot of that comes with jealousy, man, hating your brother because of his righteous works before the Lord. And your works are evil, right? You plan in the darkness. And it says, marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brethren abideth in death. And whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, right? And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him, man, right? So if you physically hate your brother, right, then in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you would be a murderer, man, right? And no murderer has eternal life or is able to enter to the kingdom of Yahweh, man, right? So let's go back up a couple of verses. It says this, right? It says, Salaki, it says, for this is the message, verse 11, that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, man, right? So what is that message? And where did we hear it from? Right? Let's go to the law real quick. Right? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. Right? This is what the message was that we heard from the beginning. Right? And I'm going to start at verse number 17. It says, this is Leviticus 19 and 17. It says, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord, right? That is the message that we heard from the beginning, that we should love our neighbor as ourself. We're supposed to look at the next man, the next Black, Hispanic, and Native American man, the Israelite man, with love and see him or her and say, that's me, right? I was once in that position. I once walked in darkness, right? I once made mistakes like that, right? Or to look at them and see the sin that they're dwelling in and righteously rebuke them, right? That's why it says, look, the latter end of verse 17, it says, and not suffer sin upon them. You cannot look at your neighbor or your brother or sister and say that you love them, but you're allowing them to wallow in sin. That's not love. That's hate in the eyes of the Most High. And what did he say about you hating your brother? You a murderer. You might as well be putting a gun to their head, amen, yourself. If you allowing them to smoke weed, smoke crack, live in homosexuality, man, sleep with his brother's wife, or the woman sleep outside of her husband, right, et cetera, man. Gossip and lie on others, right? You might as well be killing that person yourself, man, being a murderer, because you're allowing that to happen, right? So this is the message that was heard from the beginning, that we should love one another as we love ourselves. And what does that mean? We have to prefer one another, man, in these last days. It's too many of us hating and the division in the Israelite community, man. And I'm not just saying those that are in the truth, those that are outside of the truth, the nation, period. The Black, Hispanic, and Native American is still living in hatred one toward another. Things that we've been taught from generation to generation to look at each other as we're nothing. We hate one another, right? Those that look like you can't teach you nothing, can't tell you nothing. They're lower and beneath you, right? But yet you're trying to make yourself equal to these other nations, man. Constantly. But somebody that looks like you is in the same position, the same place that you live in, right, and going through the same struggles, you hate them. The Lord said you got to start preferring your people, man, right? Let's get a precept. Let's go to the book of Romans, man, and get this classic. All right, this is the book of Romans. Chapter 12 and verse 10, it says, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another, man. We have no honor amongst us, man. What's the world saying? There's no honor amongst thieves. We're too much like thieves in the world. We're covetous, right? Backbiters, slanderers, we're haters, right? Envious, all these things. We don't look at each other with love and respect and honor. And the Lord said, be kindly and affectionate one to another. We might see a less fortunate brother or sister on the street, and we walk right past them and step right over them, man. When you have plenty to give and you don't care. Even those that are fortunate and still have things, but yet are lacking in certain things like knowledge, right, or understanding or anything, right? A shoulder to cry on, an ear to be heard, man, you know, so they can lay their burdens down on you, man. We're not affectionate or kindly one to another. And it says, with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another, man. There's no honor in our communities, man, in our lives. We don't honor one another. We don't put one another on a pedestal. We don't look at one another as ourselves, man, as you're looking in a mirror. We don't do that, right? We look at one another and we're total strangers, man. You see a brother in your neighborhood you ain't never seen before, man, and you ready to ride down on him, man. You ready to slide him. Soon as you see him, man, you ready to put your hands together, man, or do something to him, pick his pocket or whatever it is. That's what we do. But the Lord said you have to exercise patience and things one toward another, man. The fruits of the Spirit, man. Right, let's go to that real quick. Let's go to Galatians 5, right? This is Galatians 5 and verse 22, and it reads, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, and against such there is no law. So you got to ask yourself, do you practice these attributes one toward another? When you look at your brother, Do you have love in your heart, man? When you see your neighbor, you see him struggling, or you just see a random brother or sister walking in your vicinity, do you love that person? Right? Do you have peace when you're around your own people? Or do you say things like, I can't stand being around niggas, man? Right? I'm uncomfortable around these niggas, man. You rather be around these other nations. Right? Long suffering. When a brother or sister's battling with something, do you have long suffering with that person? Do you suffer long with your brother or your sister? Do you spend time with your brother and sister, man, talking about the Lord or giving some type of advice or just spending time with them, right, to hear their problems, their burdens, right? It says gentleness. Are you gentle with your people? Or you always got something rough to say, something negative, something disrespectful to say? Are you good towards your people? It says showing goodness. Do you have faith in your people, or are you always tearing them down? Right? Meekness. Are you being the meekest person, right, in the room when you see your people? Are you humble? Or you got to be proud and boasting and one-upping everybody, right? Being better than everybody. Do you have temperance around your people, man? You got to ask yourself, man, these are attributes of being or loving your people, man, you know, and having one mind one toward another. Are you equally yoked with those brothers and sisters, man? And if they don't have what you have, are you willing to give a part of you to them so you can build them up, man? To be on one accord, or to know the Father, or to know the wisdom and have the knowledge that you have. Right? Let's get another precept. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter real quick. Chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 8, and it reads, Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous, man. The Lord said having compassion on one another, man. Right? And being pitiful towards one another, man. Do you have compassion for your neighbor? You long suffering? Are you pitiful towards your brothers and sisters? It says, not rending evil for evil, or railing for railing, but counterwise blessings, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing, man. So are you always in a rival situation with your people, man? Are you always trying to go head up in competition? Right? Are you trying to be one and the same mind and having compassion on one another, man? We got to ask ourselves this in these last days. Because we say we love Yahushua, man. We say we love the Most High. But do you truly? If you don't love your brothers, man. If you don't love your neighbors, man. Right? Do you truly love them, man? Do you look at your brother or your sister as being like you as you're looking in the mirror, man? Right? Understanding that what they go through, you're going through as well, man. You're in the same communities, the same situation, the same problems. And do you have compassion and understanding of what they're going through? Or are you boasting against them? Right? Are you trying to make yourself a level up? Let's get another precept, man. These are questions that need to be asked, man, in these last days. Let's get 1 Corinthians 12. And I'm starting verse 26, and it says, And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member being honored, all the members rejoice with it, man. So that's the mindset that we have to have one toward another, man. If one member of the whole nation of the body suffer, we should all be suffering with that brother or that sister, man. We should all be feeling compassion and understanding of what our neighbor is going through as it is ourselves. And when you see them come up and doing well in life or have some type of success, you should be in a joyous occasion. It should be a joyous occasion unto you. You should be happy to see your people come up, man. and to doing good and coming out of a state of being low and not having anything and being increased in the eyes of the Lord. You should be joyful and not covetous or hating or slick talking behind their back. Why that dude get to get all that, man? Or why she got all that, man, and I ain't get to get it, man? That's wicked. You should look at them as yourself, man, and say, hey, man, they came up, I came up, man. We all one in the same, man. We all doing this thing together, man. Right? Because as you are, so as your neighbor should be, man. Right? Y'all should be on one accord in all things. Right? If you really love one another. Speaking the same things, walking the same way, man. Your light should be shining the same way. And when they see your neighbor out, they should see you through them. All right, let's get this real quick. It's Sirach. It's the book of Sirach. Chapter Shalakia 6. Right, and verse number, I'm going to start at verse number 14. It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure. Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also, man. So if you call yourself a friend or a brother to somebody, man, you should be one accord, always built up, you know what I'm saying, when your brother's down and out, giving friendly counsel, love, spending time, right, speaking the same things, one accord. And it says a friend is a medicine of life, man. Right? You speak life into your people, man. Honoring your brother. Giving him everything he needs to keep him going and putting him on his feet, man, when he's down. And not tearing him down. That's love. Right? And it says, whoso feareth the Lord directed his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also, man. So you should be on that same level, man. Right? Giving charity, man, alms, respect, counsel, love, man, just that righteous advice, man. And being down with your people. Are you doing that in these last days, man? Are you there when your people need you? Or when they call you, are you hitting that button, man, and I'll deal with them later on, man. I ain't trying to hear that, man. Every time I turn around, that dude always coming at me with something, man. Always asking for some advice or some precepts or something, man. Ask yourself, is that you? Or when you see that call, man, or you see that text message come up, man, hey, you make that time to get back and, hey, holler, man. What you need? You know, what can I do for you? Do you really have that love in your spirit, man, like that? Because you say you love the Most High, man. You say you're trying to strive to be perfect. Well, what does that mean to be perfect, man? All right, let's get it real quick. Let's go to Colossians real quick. Let's go to Colossians chapter 3 and verse 14. It says, and above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness, man. Charity, man, for your people. That's the bond of perfectness, man, because they know that they can reach somebody if they need it, and that somebody is you. Because they know that you love them. You're humble. You're meek. You have joy and peace in your heart, man. Right? You're long-suffering. And you're willing to go above and beyond to show your neighbor love. You're keeping that commandment that Yahweh Shai has commanded you from the beginning. To love your neighbor as yourself, man. And you won't suffer sin upon him. You will get on that brother when he's going off, man. And build him back up. That's love. Right? Do you have these traits, man? Right? Then you know you're perfect, man, that you're walking in perfectness, man, if you love your neighbor. Right? Let's go to another precept real quick. Let's get 1 John chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse number 11. And it reads, Beloved, if Yahweh so loved us, we ought also to love one another. No man have seen Yahweh at any time. If we love one another, Yahweh dwelleth in us, and his love is perfect in us, man. That's the only way Yahweh's going to dwell inside of you, man, is if you love your people, man. And that's how you're made perfect. He said, no man has seen the Father, man. You have not seen the Most High before, but you see your brother every day, right? And if you have love for your brother, right, charity, long-suffering, patience, man, then you see the Most High, man, because we are the image of the Father, right? And he dwells in perfectness, man, and his love for us is what we should have for our brothers and our sisters in these last days, man, right? But it's impossible to say that you love the Most High, man, and you ain't got no love for your brothers, man. You're a liar. Like it said, you're a murderer, man. If you hate your brothers, you're a liar, man. Because you see your brother every day. You deal with your brothers on a daily basis. You deal with your sisters on a daily basis. Your people in and out of this truth on a daily basis. And if you got hate in your heart for them, then hey, man, you hate your Father in heaven. He said, he that toucheth them is like touching the apple of my eye, man. You hate the Father if you hate them, right? Let's read down. Let's jump to verse number 20. It says, if a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he have seen, how can he love God, whom he have not seen, man? Right? So that's playing upon tables, man. You're a liar, right? If you say you love the Most High and you don't love your people, then you're a liar, man. And the truth is not in you, right? You cannot love the Most High without loving your neighbor, man, right? So you got to understand that we all suffer through similar things. We all go through similar things. We all go off. We were all in one destroyed a position at one point, man. Your job is to love your people at all costs, right? And let that brotherly love always continue through any situation, right? That don't mean just let people dog you out and do whatever, but you should always have that brotherly love, man. And to know that your people, we are all one and we all suffer. We're all in captivity. We're all under the same oppressor. We all deal with the same things every day, man, right? And we're supposed to be built for adversity one toward another, man. We're supposed to hold each other down in this captivity, man. The true love of Israelites, man. Laying our lives down for our neighbors, man. Literally, physically, spiritually, and all, man. Putting our life on the line for our people, man. That's true love, right? In the eyes of the Lord, right? Let's get one or two more precepts, man. Close it out. Let's go to the book of Hebrews real quick, right? It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 13. I'll just start at the top, and it says, let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Remember them that are in bonds, as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body, man. So we got to remember those that are in bonds, man, in captivity. We are all in bonds. Your brothers are locked up in prisons, man, physically. We got to remember those brothers, man, those sisters. We out here walking in Babylon the Great in bondage, and we think we're free, but we're still in captivity. We all suffer the same adversity. We all have to love one another as we love ourselves. So it says, remember them that are in bonds, as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity, as being yourselves also in the body, man. So we're all one body in this thing, man. We're all one body in the Mashiach Yahushai, man. And we all supposed to love one another, prefer one another, and protect one another in these last days. So you got to ask yourself, are you keeping that commandment of the Most High, man? Right? I'm going to give one more precept, and I'm going to shut it down. Right? This is the book of Proverbs. right? I think this is what I want. Proverbs 17 and verse 17, it says, a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity, man. Right? That's mighty. Read that one more time. Proverbs 17 and 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity, man. Right? So if you call yourself a brother and a faithful friend or a sister, you are born for adversity, to keep your brother's back. Watch his six. Love him at all costs, through his down and his faults, and through his up, right? And rise into ascension to be great in the eyes of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. So ask yourself in these last days, are you keeping that commandment by loving your neighbor, man, as yourself? But with that, hope it was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Kum Yasha Allah, and Shalom.